What's up, everybody? It has been a really long time. Happy May 15th, Thursday, 2025. It's been a really long time since I've done a video. I am I've taken a lot of time to push to the side and just focusing on growth, focusing on family. Um it has been quite a year and we're only almost halfway through. But I've been really inspired. I've been really inspired to change direction in how I think about money and how I think about finances. I know it's nothing nuanced, but it's a particular subject that most people overlook because it seems daunting or it seems unachievable. It seems for some people they don't even think it's realistic for them. And I will say that I have been in that mindset before. I understand. And once you focus yourself out of that mindset, you'd be surprised as to what it is that you can achieve. And so I want to start out today by talking about accounting for your money, being accountable for where your money goes and how to track it. And some of you may say, like, well, that's what my banking app is for. That's why the bank does it and they give me statements. And it's like, yes, that's fair. It's giving you a receipt as to what you spent money on in, the past month or 2 weeks, however you get your statements. Um, but I've recently, I've been listening so there's a YouTuber. He's a pretty legit guy. I've been watching him for about 6 years. His name's Brian Kim from Clear Value Tax. Uh, Brian has not led me astray. Brian, he's not gonna make you rich, but he will give you richness in mindfulness, if that's a way I could put it off the top of my head. He will give you a lot of wisdom if you're willing to sit and focus. He gives a video Monday through Friday, every day for the past 6 years of my life. I've been watching him and listening to everything. Whether I agree with his opinions, he's usually not very opinionated. He just gives you the facts, gives it to you straight. And this year he had released a book, The Book of Wealth. And I'm not fully done with it. It was a $5 book. It was the best $5 I've ever spent on reading material. Because, again, none of it is nuanced. It is just a preferred way of thinking. And so when people think about their money, they usually think like, well, I got to set budgets. I can't spend here and there, and that mindset could be limiting, right? Cuz budgeting is setting a limit, setting a threshold on what it is that you can spend or what you can spend on, and it becomes very uh annoying, I guess. It's annoying to have to limit yourself and feel like you're torturing yourself and punishing yourself on things that you would really enjoy. I love video games. I spend quite a bit of money on video games and other unnecessary things, but to stay focused here. So I read the Book of Wealth, and the one thing that really stuck with me in the beginning, Brian tells you to take account of your money. Make some kind of way as to how you can track where your expenses are going month to month. And the reason for that is because you want to make sure that you're in a net positive, right? There's two ways of making money. One, you spend less than you make. Two, you make more avenues of income. And for a lot of common people, making more than one avenue of income, it can be strenuous. Not to say that it's going to ever be easy. All of it is strenuous, but making more avenues sometimes it's just it's not realistic for some people, depending on your lifestyle and how much you've got going on. But I've recently taken his advice, his suggestions, his guide, you could say, in this book, and I started a spreadsheet. And so what I'm going to show you guys today is how to take account for your money. And how I do this with a spreadsheet, it's pretty simple. I even used Grok AI to help me navigate the areas of Google spreadsheets that, I most of us don't remember Microsoft Excel when we went to high school or whenever it is that you learned uh, how to navigate an Excel type of program. So I'm going to show you a quick and easy way how to take account for your money, some quick little neat tricks. I just started doing this in March. So if you look at my March, I know this looks crazy. It's very tism, you can say. You could say it's got the tism in it, all these colors. I'm very color coordinated. It brings order to me, for me. But if you look here, when I started doing this, this was kind of blah, very messy here. This was my first attempt. Excuse me, I have a nicotine pouch in my mouth. This was my first attempt at trying to take account for my money, and it wasn't very organized. And as time went on, I organized it. I leaned it out, you could say. Just got things exactly where I need them, where it makes sense to me. And you can do this however you need to make it suit your life. So I'm going to zoom in here, give you a little bit of understanding of what I'm taking account of here. So as you can see, I've got the months already laid out at the bottom tab here. And then I have columns that are categorized based on the areas of my expenses. So we have housing, we have groceries, that's your trips to Walmart, Myers, wherever you're shopping for your food, Giant Eagle. Transportation, your vehicle as to what you spend month to month on gasoline, maintenance, even car payment. Like I put my car payment in this category as well so that I understand how much money month to month I'm spending on set subject. Insurance, haven't paid that yet this month, but that's where all my insurance payments go. Utilities, this would be your water, your gas, your electric. So far, that's what I have. Entertainment, this is your I won't say miscellaneous. I have miscellaneous set aside, and I'll explain that. But entertainment is just your expenses that are not necessary to your everyday life, right? This is my video games, this is my Netflix, this is my Disney Plus, this is my Xbox Game Pass. And so that column is where all my unnecessary spending goes. Takeout delivery. Eating out is very expensive. Eating out should not be your first preference to how you spend your money. Eating out is a luxury. Eating out is a convenience when it needs to be. And then we have work spend. So this is what I spend at work. I don't take a lunch to work. I prefer not to. I sit at a desk and work on a computer. And then I come home and sit at a desk and work on my computer. So I set a limit, and I'll explain why there's this green here, because this is my Cash App. So I set a limit of money to the side, either bi-weekly, or I'll set a specific number for the month, and I'll try to make that a obtainable goal to stay within the means of that set number. Sometimes I end up spending more than usual on some weeks, depending on how hard work is going. And then I have the miscellaneous spending. So miscellaneous is going out shopping for clothes, sending money to somebody. What's this? This is a haircut. This is what I spend on haircuts. Anything that is not so often coming out of your bank account. Maybe it comes out once a month, maybe twice. It's something that you don't do. It doesn't necessarily need to be categorized. Not for me, at least. If you would feel you need to. I'm a person, keep it simple. Less is more. Keep it simple. Make it make sense for you. And then I have personal debt. So this is any of your credit cards. This is your student loans. This is anything that you have to make payments to because you have bought debt. And then I have ATM. So this category I keep separate. This is anything physical cash coming in and out of my bank account. And then I have my income. This is all set to be, and this is all automated to equate itself. You don't have to do any math, people. You don't have to think about it. You just set it, you type the number, you copy and paste the number in, and that's that. And then I have track of my investments. So I'm into stocks, I'm into crypto. This is to keep tabs on what you're spending month to month. And then I have my legend here, and this helps make sense of everything. This is where my color coordination kicks in, my autism kicks in, and I keep track of everything. This is really the only manual part that I haven't really gotten down as to how to make it more convenient and short. You kind of have to do this manually, where you have to check what color this is that you set for the legend, and then make sure you set that for the box you're gonna fill in. And then you have your monthly P&L, so your profit loss margin, which currently I'm negative, but I still have 3 paychecks to go. And my after investment. So my after investment is what I spend month to month, but it's subtracted from my P&L. So my P&L is here because I want to know whether I'm positive or negative for the month. My after investment is what I subtract from my P&L. Regardless if I'm in the profit or negative, I want to know what that number is that I owe to myself. And then my after ATM is what is missing out of my bank account that I physically have taken out, and what I should probably either have gained or owe myself in the future. And so that's what these are your three main conclusive categories right here. And so as you can see, I'm pretty negative right now for, the middle of the month, but it's all good. You can have a bad 2-3 weeks and then you come back. It's all good. Have negative 3 quarters, you come back in the fourth. Uh, but so that's the gist of this. That is basically how I account for this. Now, as to how do you start one of these, you're going to need a blank Google Sheet doc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this straight up from the beginning. You go to Docs, Google. Um, actually, so it's actually a Sheets. So I go to Google Sheets. I have shortcuts already, so it's easier for me to get to where I need to go. I forget exactly how I got to the columns, honestly. Schedule, because I just kind of copy and paste. After you do it once, you don't want to do the whole thing over again. So I can't remember. Blank spreadsheet. I believe it's this one. Yeah, okay, so you just need a blank spreadsheet. Now, once you have this blank spreadsheet, you want to create an outlier. You want to create borders. And once you do it once, you don't have to manually do it every single time. You highlight, you copy, you paste it onto another sheet. So the first thing you want to do is create a title. You would create your title up here, make it expenses, blase blase. But how to create one of these? Let's see. I'm gonna put this over here for reference. So again, I'm just gonna do this how I do it, and then you guys fit it to how it fits your lifestyle. So the first thing you want to do is I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 categories. I have 10 categories as to where my money goes. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create. Oh, what? Nope, wrong thing. Control Z. I'm gonna border these, and I'm gonna make each one independently bordered. So we have these borders. Again, we have housing. How much are you spending on your living expenses for shelter? Then we have I can't spell groceries. Next, we have transportation. Ooh, big old R in that trans, huh? Transportation. It's been a while since I've been spelling, Autocorrect kind of takes a couple brain cells here and there away, week by week. Then we have insurance. And we have utilities. Probably spelled that wrong, but for the sake of the video. Then we have takeout. Takeout, takeout. That's your food. Unnecessarily buying food that other people prepare for you, which again, that's a convenience and it comes with a fee. And yes, I do spend money on it, but you should control how much you do that because it will eat a massive hole through your digital pockets, you could say, your bank account. Then we have, if you're like me and you spend money at work, you have work, spend, and then you have your miscellaneous items. Just misc, that's fine. I think I missed one here. I might have highlighted one too many. Housing, groceries, transportation, insurance, utility. Insurance. Oh, I forgot the entertainment. So when you have an issue like this, folks, highlight, go to the top till the hand pops up, drag it over once, voila. That's it. You don't have to delete and do it all over again. No unnecessary steps. I forgot entertainment. You can't forget the entertainment. That's how it gets you by, you know? Like, gets you through those long days off of work when you're like, I could be making money, and your brain's going places. And you're like, I can come up with some crazy idea to be a rich millionaire, billionaire, quadrillionaire. And then we have personal debt. So we've got the 10 boxes for your 10 categories. Now, if you're like me and you're super OCD about like things being neat and being orderly, once you highlight these top empty box, or I should call them cells, there's a button up top here called merge cells. You click that and puts them all together. They're all fused as one cell now. And you can put, month, whatever the month is. Oop, that's moth. Month and year. Now you could say, well, why is it all the way over there, right? If you don't remember, there's another tool button up here that lets you center that. Well, once you highlight it, you have to center it, and boom, there you have it. So there is the beginning to your spreadsheet for taking account. Next thing I like to do is create a border around this. I usually give myself about 20 something cells. You don't really want, you're not going to spend that much. You think you will. Your biggest column will show as to where most of your money goes in time. And then we will create a border around this. Again, so if you guys can't see, I hope you guys can see this on your tiny little screen phone. It goes away when you zoom in, but there's tools up here. So you always want to remember the merge button, and there's a border button, and then you have like the little lines. It's kind of very intuitive. You kind of know what it is just by looking at the icon. But continuing here, so and then we have the ATM. If you're like me, you have to keep an ATM. You want to know what kind of money is coming out if you're sharing a bank account with somebody, a significant other or so. You want to take a separate account of that. So we have the ATM category. I keep that outside of the spending category. It's not the same, at least for me. So we have our little outline here, and we will move on to how, well, we forgot, we got to do income. Income is necessary. So that's your income category. We'll center that one. We're going to make an investment category, and I have two investments that I do, stocks and crypto. So I'm going to merge these cells together. I'm going to put investments. I'm going to center that. All right. You want to make it nice and neat, put a box around it. I just keep it orderly. You want to be quick. You want to be able to look at it real quickly and know exactly where you're at. Voila, voila. Now, the tricky part here is understanding, well, I guess I should, for the sake of just teaching this, we should go ahead and color it. Here's your income. For me, investments is yellow because yellow is a cautionary color. Um, you want to be cautious with how you spend your investments. You don't. It's not a gamble. Shouldn't be treated as gambling. If I could actually find the color here. Okay, we have income, investments, ATM. You could do a burgundy. That's what I do. So there we have it. And then we're gonna make the total. We want to merge all these cells together. Merge. I make this vivid red because that's the conclusion of what all our numbers are going to equate to. So total, we'll center that. Make it bold. There you go. And then we're going to highlight these boxes down here. We're going to get these cells all outlined. All right, so when everything's already accounted for, it's automatically going to do all the math for you. Now here's the part where you want to pay attention. We're going to insert functions into this spreadsheet. So a function is basically an autonomous function. It takes whatever it is you program it to do. Now what we're doing is we're going to find the sum of something. So let's go to entertainment, because most people, we spend a lot of money on entertainment. We go out to movies, play video games, we go out drinking, whatever it is that you do. Not my thing. I drink at home. But here we go. So what you want to do is click on the cell that is going to have the sum of a collection of cells. So what we do for that, there's a couple different ways of doing it, but the fast and easy way is to press equal. You have equal, sum, and you get a whole list of things that have different functions. So you're going to want to click the top one. The top one is just sum of series of numbers and or cells. You click that, the equation pops up right down here if you can't see it. And you could do that manually, or you can take your cursor, click and hold a cell, and drag it all the way down that column. So everything in this column that you put in is automatically going to be added into one conclusive sum. You're going to press the enter button. Once those are all highlighted, voila, it puts a 0 there for you. Now, if you want it to look like dollars, highlight all these cells, highlight the whole thing. There's a little button up here with a dollar sign to format as a currency. Boom, you click that, everything's in dollars for you. So if you spent $5.75 and then you spent $11.97, and then the game came out that was, hey, it's Nintendo $80 games. There you have it. Everything is already added within this cell. You spent $97 just like that in 3 transactions. So that is how you, and you're going to have to manually do that for every one of these cells every time you start a new month. So what I like to do is I usually just, once you start working on this, instead of just taking account of, take it in sections, create your format, create your spreadsheet, create the whole year's worth, get it out of the way. You're not going to want to continuously do it. The more you do it, the more you'll remember the steps. But I have all the months laid out, ready to go, so I can just start putting numbers in when the time comes. So definitely create your format, and then take a break, and then figure out your numbers later. And then how this all goes. So that's just taking account for where your expenses are going and what they equate. So what then you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do a total, and I color this one different. So I'm going to color this one pink because it's vivid. It gets your attention very quickly. And this one, this total, total is going to be the total of all your other expenses into one. So again, we're going to do the same function that we've done before, the sum function. The sum function equal sum. Click it. Again, we have to put the value columns or rows in. On this particular part, we're going to do a row. We're not going to do a column. So you're going to highlight all these rows as to where your expense totals were. Once it's in there, it's A23 to J23. Press enter. And now let's say you spent $160 on groceries. Boom. Oh, we didn't take account for that. So we got to, again, you got to manually put the function in. Sum function. Highlight these, enter. There we have it. 160 plus your 97, you're already at a total of $257, and your total expenditures for the month so far. And you're going to repeat this process for a lot of different things. And I'm going to explain as to how to get your monthly P&L and your after investment and your after ATM. So I'm just, for the sake of time here, I'm just going to copy and paste. I'm going to paste them. You could set it up however you want to set it up. This is just easiest for me when I log on Google Sheets on my phone. I want to be able to look at it on my phone very quickly and see where I'm at. Maybe put something in on my phone while I'm on the go. I have made it a habit to, instead of just keeping receipts, I immediately look at my receipts, see what I've spent. I put it in on my spreadsheet immediately. Get back to the car. Hey, turn the car on, let it warm up. Type it in your phone. Boom, boom, boom. Get it out of the way. Know where your money is going day by day, month by month. It sounds tedious. Maybe it's me. I've fallen in love with this, but it works. It works, people. And there's no excuse that there's no way of getting somewhere when there's a clear way to get somewhere, because it works. So again, we're going to do, so income, I'm going to highlight a couple boxes. However many, if you know how many paychecks or how many avenues of income you've got going on, set up how many cells you need to. But we're going to do a small. We're going to take this. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to put it there. And also, you're going to want to sell for that, just for the organization of it. So, again, equal, sum. Highlight these boxes, all your incomes. Press enter. Now, let's say you got a $700 check. You got a $1,200 check. Voila, you're at $1,900 accumulated for the month. And this is going to be important to into how you get your monthly P&L. So I'm going to create a little box here. Boom. I like to just organize, sectionalize everything. So your monthly P&L equals sum. Now, you're going to do this manually because we're going to subtract. We're going to click your total sum of income, and it puts it in there for you. M9. You're going to press minus, and then you will, I believe, hold control button. I don't know if it's control or alt. I might have to do this a few times. Oh, no, it's control. So when you press and hold the control button, it allows you to input, it automatically inputs the cell that you click on for you. So it's M9 minus K23. So your income minus your expenses. Again, you want to make sure you're making more or spending less than you make. We'll click enter. So $1,900 you've made minus the 257. Your monthly P&L is now $1,642. That's how much you are positive. And that's how you would format that. That's how you'd get that. Now, after investment, this is how I like to do it. Your after investment is equals sum. And I'm going to click my monthly P&L. Control. And I didn't set up an investment, so this is so backwards. I guess I got ahead of myself. So we'll create a little box here. I got a little ahead. Hopefully, oops. Let's see. I made a couple boo-boos. As I said, folks, it's been a long time since I've done this. I have not made a video in quite some time. I've kind of lost my touch. Copy. And for the sake of it, just Control C, Control V, copy paste. It's so much faster. It's more convenient. Everybody loves convenience. We will merge these cells and we will say equal sum, click it, highlight all these boxes, all these cells, enter. So now let's say, stocks. Well, this is numbers. You can label this however you want, but let's say you put $200 into crypto. Let's say you put $100 into stocks. Now you're at a total of 300 of investment. So there you have it. There's your investment total. Now you're going to want to subtract your investment from your monthly P&L, because that's money that's been taken out if you spent it, and it's money you've earned within the month, and it's also going out. It's money you kind of paid to yourself, but you're kind of taking. It's a little bit of a gamble if you're not researching what you're investing into and you're just throwing money. You want to keep tabs on how much money you've thrown, So again, we'll do this over, equals sum, and we will click the investment total. All right, yeah, that should be right. Control. Well, first we have to put a minus in that formula, and you want to subtract this from your monthly P&L. Voila. Now, $300, it's negative 1,342. I may have done that wrong, folks. I did it a little backwards. Let's try that again. I believe it's your monthly P&L minus total investments. That's more appropriate. That's more appropriate. So you subtract 300 from your monthly P&L, which has already been subtracted from your monthly expenses. You see how you don't have to think about it? This is why I'm having trouble even remembering which formula I put in correctly, because I've already set it up to be so autonomous that I don't have to think about it. And then after your ATM equals sum, click on that. We will click on monthly P&L again, control, and then I don't have it here obviously, but you would do the same process. You would subtract what you take out of your ATM from your monthly P&L, and you would have that difference. Now, why do you do all three of these? You don't have to. If you just want to keep track of what your monthly income and expenses are, you do that. But I want a total understanding as to where all my dollars are going. So knowing what's out of my bank account instantly, what's pending, you want to keep track of everything, because I don't even go to my bank account anymore unless I have to know exactly what's in there at the time being, what's pending, so on and so forth. But most of the time, when I'm thinking about how much money I have, I'm going straight to my spreadsheet. My spreadsheet's going to be way more accurate for me than just going to a bank account that has some middlemen that have to wait 3 days for a transaction to process where it's pending, and you're like, hey, I just spent like $20 on Amazon like 3 days ago and they just now took the money out. I thought I had more than I really did. You don't want to fall in those traps. So again, this spreadsheet really, really will benefit you in accounting for your money. You want to take account for your money. Now there's a few other functions. The colors you choose however fits you. The legends, your note taking as to where your money is going, that's all on you. As you see, I have some miscellaneous things in here. Really some degenerative things. But anyways, you want to do it for your own setup. I am no financial advisor. I am no professional, but reading a self-help book by someone who has really helped me, again, Brian Kim, it really, really benefits you to keep tabs on accounting for your money. And this has been the best way for me. Hopefully you learn how to do it and it becomes the best way for you. Now, there's a way to format things as to whether you want the colors to be red automatically and green. That's called formatting. If you don't understand, I highly suggest just if get a AI assistant, learn to use it. It's highly beneficial. Uh, I'm not going to get into that. I just wanted to keep the video short and to the point. This is how you account for your money. And I think I'm going to end it here. I have not done a video in a long time. How long have I been running? Uh, I'm not even sure where the time is on that. But anyways, oh, there it is. We've already been going 35 minutes, so I don't want to make this any longer than it has to be. But there you have it, folks. I hope this helps. I hope you guys get a grip on your financial sovereignty. Be self-sovereign, be vigilant, and never stop working on yourself.